Hello, we are at lucky day 13 for Light in the Darkness, not Life in the Darkness. We don't want to keep doing that. That's why we're doing this. So, anyway, I mentioned it yesterday, but we are talking about healthy communication. And our reflection question for the day is, what communication patterns were healthy or harmful from my past? So, communication habits actually are what develop relational patterns because our relationships are really based on communication. A lot of it is nonverbal and a lot of it is verbal. So, our healing requires us kind of going back and noticing what styles we inherited from our family of origin, what we may have tolerated from our partner's family of origin, or what we've repeated and normalized in both of them, even. And once we see that and we can kind of weigh them against what experts would consider to be healthy communication styles, then we can identify that, oh, yeah, I probably do need to change some things. And what I would say is that you want to be identifying healthy ways of expressing your needs, resolving your conflicts, and creating safety. Because when somebody feels like they're safe to bring their feelings to you, like they could come and ask you a question about the tone that you had just back there and it didn't feel good, and hey, what was going on with that? Or you come to them with questions about something that they may have done, and you're creating an environment where you're not attacking each other, because why would you do that? This is your partner. But see, some people do. A lot of people do. And a lot of families have normalized that. So this is unique. Be prepared for that. But grow into it, rise into it, level up, and you deserve this. So don't compromise on it. And I really think that if the whole world were taking time to read the books about conflict resolution, identify communication styles in our families of origin, or even some of the relational dynamics in our families of origin, things that were normalized, like things I would never ever accept, like nobody called me the B word. That is not happening. And to me, disrespect, name calling, any of that kind of stuff in any of the conflict, I don't want to say conflict resolution, but any of the conflicts in general, that is not acceptable. It is just not okay. That's something you want to live with. Up to you. I wouldn't recommend it, but I would be looking to find resources to equip yourself. And I will also say, Jimmy on Relationships on YouTube, fabulous content about how to have good interactions and healthy communication in relationships. So he's got tons of videos. I will be making more, but his are great and really funny. And he wears a wig sometimes, which I'm not doing. So there you have that. Anyway, I want to leave you with this affirmation. I am learning to communicate with clarity, honesty, and compassion. And I will tell you that that's really hard to do sometimes. And there was a situation I was in recently where my emotions were intense, and I kind of knew what I wanted to say, but it took some courage, and I did a lot of like partial, because like, well, in it, sometimes you just when you don't actually say the thing. I kind of felt like an idiot afterwards, but clarity, honesty, and compassion. When we can communicate with those things and we lead that way, and we even practice, like, if you have something hard to say, maybe say it out loud a few times to yourself first so that you can say it with clarity, and that you are being honest about your feelings and you are approaching the whole situation with compassion. Because when you lead with compassion and gentleness, I don't think you'll ever go wrong. And I'm not saying that I've always led with gentleness, because there have been some, I mean, there have been some times when I haven't, and I just own that. But we learn from that and we move on. So I am learning to communicate with clarity, honesty, and compassion. And I will see you again tomorrow.